Hey, hey. All right, all right. My name is Ashley Kirkwood, and we are going to be talking tonight about pricing. And I can't wait for this discussion because it was one that was actually requested. And so I'm going to be diving deep into how you can price for profit. And my hope is that y'all get a ton of value out of this. If you're watching it on YouTube, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments, and then I will be sure to give you a shout out for watching it on our YouTube. Okay. And so we are going to be talking today really about pricing. How do you price yourself? What should you be considering before you start your prices? What does that look like? How can you have some guidance about how you should be pricing and so many more, and how your money mindset affects your pricing and like how to set the right price and what does that look like. I feel like so often when we think about pricing and we think about setting our prices, we're doing it from the perspective of how can I, we're doing it from the perspective of like what is everyone else charging? And we'll talk about that, like how to even use competitor research in your pricing. So I'm really excited about getting into today. And this is perfect for my coaches, my consultants, my freelancers, my small business owners. I'm really excited about that. And so I know that y'all are going to get a lot of value out of this live video. So do me a favor real quick. Just share it with 3 people and be like, girl, she live. Come on here right now. And let's get this live video packed out, whether you're joining us on Instagram or anywhere else. We would love, love, love for you to share this with your friends. If you're live on YouTube, shout out to you all. So excited about it. And just as an announcement, we do still have a few seats left to our Speak Your Way to Cash Resurgence Tour in Houston. Okay. And I'm really looking forward to getting those all the way sold out. Can y'all believe that every other city in our Your First corporate or Your First $25,000 offer tour is sold out except for Houston? And they only have, I think, about 10 seats left at this point, and then they will also be sold out. So really exciting stuff, but let's get into it. What if the way you think about money is why you're undercharging? What if the way you think about money is why you're undercharging? And I want you to sit with that for a little bit, because a lot of times the way we think about money, our ideas about money actually come from our parents. Sometimes they come from the books that we read. Sometimes they come from our Instagram feed. Sometimes it comes from our own personal desires. Sometimes it comes from the church. Sometimes it comes from our religious background. Where do your money beliefs come from? Drop it in the chat. Who was the first entity or person to teach you about money? Mine was definitely my parents. 100%. It was my parents. And then after my parents, I would say probably my church. And I grew up in a CME church. And so I knew a lot of business owners. It definitely wasn't like prosperity gospel, like give money and then you'll just be rich. But it was also not, if you have money, you are evil. And so I would say that my beliefs really stem from like my parents and the church. And I would also say that if you are not careful, you can hang very tight to money mindset beliefs that no longer serve you. No longer serve you. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Now, we're going to also explore the science behind money and where and how your beliefs about money infect your pricing. And in fact, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. So it's not always a bad thing, but let's get into it. So number 1, your money mindset shapes your prices. Somebody drop that in the chat as number 1. Number 1, your money mindset shapes your prices. Here's the thing. Your price, you're going to price your offers based on what you believe about your products and services and what you believe about your audience. And here's the kicker. Sometimes we choose our audience, you guys, based upon who we think can afford it. Okay? But other times we have mistaken beliefs about what people will spend. And so we decrease our prices based on those mistaken beliefs as well. Okay. So, number 1, scarcity mindset, scarcity pricing. If you believe no one has it, no one's got it, no one's going to get it, I'm not worth it, then it will show up not just in how you price, but it will also show up in how you sell. Let me explain. So let's say you have an offer, and let's say you have a $100,000 offer, but you don't believe anyone will buy that $100,000 offer. Do you think that you're going to sell it? Yes or no? Do you think that you're going to market it with all your might? Do you think that you're going to pitch it? Do you think that you're going to go after it? I remember when I had my law firm, you all, I had this legal package, and it was like a $15,000 a month package. And my husband was like, why are you still selling $3,500 trademarks if you have a $15,000 legal package? Wouldn't it? He's like, I'm not really an entrepreneur, but wouldn't it make sense if you focused all of your time and energy on selling your $15,000 a month legal subscription? And I was like, yeah, that would make sense. And he was like, so the only reason why you're not selling that legal subscription then is must be because you don't believe anyone's going to buy it. And I was like, well, 15,000 a month is a lot. Like, is someone going to really pay that? And he was like, well, for the right person, they'll pay it. And then I realized something. I sold at the level of my belief. And when I say sold, I don't just mean with the vigor with which you talk about your offers. What I actually mean is the effort that you put into your marketing, the effort that you put into your lead generation, and the effort that you put into talking about your offers, building assets around your offers, building content around your offers. What if the reason why you have not sold your highest priced offer is because there is a belief that's holding your actions bondage? Like, what if there's a belief about that offer and about the price and about who's going to buy it that's holding your actions that's holding your actions hostage from actually selling it? Because you can only sell at the level of your belief. And so it's really critically important that we analyze our money mindset. So there's actually a study that found that scarcity reduces cognitive capacity, often leading to short-term decisions that undervalue long-term outcomes. So there was actually a study that I read that said that one of the issues with one of the dangers of poverty is that when you force people into poverty, they're not able to make long-term decisions by and large, because it affects your cognitive thinking. Because if you're in survival mode, you're thinking about what can I do tomorrow? But if you're in growth mode, if you're in expansion mode, if you're in growth mode or you're in expansion mode, then you're in the mode of planning, not just for tomorrow, but you're planning for the next decade. And for those of you that are in my YouTube family, can you just let me know if the audio sounds better today than typical? Because, we've been working on this and I really want to make sure you all are having a good experience. But if you're on YouTube, then you should be hearing our highest quality audio. So just let me know in the chat if we're sounding good. Sound check 1 2 1 2. Because we did work really hard on setting this up for y'all last night. I'm just saying. We really did. We worked really hard on setting this up for you all last night. Okay, sounds great. Okay, hello. Thank y'all for coming back and giving us a little time. I appreciate you, Ophelia. Thank you, Martha. I appreciate it. Okay, so we've gotten our audio together. So shout out to Eugene. He's been working with us now by way of Ryant and his great referral. So thank you to our audio visual experts that we hire at Speak Your Way to Cash. But yeah, so think about this, you guys. Scarcity reduces cognitive capacity, often leading to short-term decision-making and short-term pricing, meaning that if you are scared that you won't be able to sell an offer at a particular rate, even if the offer demands that rate, your scarcity in that particular area diminishes your ability to cognitively think through what you should price. And this is why the question that has always guided me, it's always leading me, is this: what would I do if I weren't afraid? Since I read that question in Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In, and I know some sisters got some problems with leaning in and all of that. I saw all the critics. I don't care. I can read an entire book and get a sentence that changes my life. And the sentence I got from her book, choose to read it if you want to. I thought it was pretty good, but the sentence that really changed my life was, what would you do if you weren't afraid? And so every time I have to make a decision, even a decision on price, I say, what would I price it if I weren't afraid? Like, I know the value of my offer. I've been doing this for almost a decade. I have the receipts. I have a Northwestern law degree, worked at the best firm in the world, practiced at the highest level, advised billion-dollar CEOs. I've worked with everyone from brand new business owners to billion-dollar companies. I've represented them and given them business strategy and legal strategy. And so I have all of the receipts. And so when I set my pricing, I have to make the fearless price. Somebody write in the comments, make the fearless price. What's the price if you weren't afraid? Now, let's backtrack a little bit, because when people hear this, here's what they do. They say, okay, well, if I weren't afraid, I'd charge $1 million. Okay, baby. Well, there's a secondary question here. Okay. The secondary question is, what is the value? What is the value to your consumer? What is the value to your consumer? If they do everything you tell them to do within 90 days, how does their life look different? If they do everything you tell them to do within 30 days, how does their life look different? If they listen to you and they implement what you say, how does their company look different? How is their business looking different? How is their revenue different? Because as a CEO, I understand that yes, we should price fearlessly, but we also have to price reasonably. Now, reasonably does not mean undervalue. Reasonably means if the reasonable person did every single thing that we told them to do, what is the long-term impact on their business? What is the long-term impact on their pricing? And so you want to ask yourself that for your offer because that's going to help you to understand the value. Now, check this out. There are studies in behavioral economics that show people's internal narratives influence how they value their own labor. Now, what does that mean? That means that you could be a neuroscientist. You could have a medical degree from Harvard Medical School. You could have saved over 1 million lives. But if you personally believe that you ain't worth it, you ain't that good, you ain't that cute, you ain't got it, that will impact the way that you view your labor. And if you don't have the right view of your labor, can you charge for it? Let me give you a very practical example. Let's say I had a Louis Vuitton bag and it was real. It was authentic. It wasn't like a fake that they're selling on TikTok right now because they mad at everything that's going on. Let's say it's a real bag. But let's say that my daughter found the bag when she was a little bit older and she decided that she wanted to resell the bag, but she didn't think it was Louis Vuitton. She thought that it was from Burlington Coat Factory. And she thought that it was like just some bag from Burlington Coat Factory that was probably worth $20. My daughter, if she were to resell that bag, may sell it or she might just give it away because of how she views the bag. Now, the fact that my daughter has the wrong view of the bag doesn't change the fact that the bag itself is valued at $3,200. But her view of the bag impacts how she resells the bag because she doesn't have the appropriate view of the bag. What if you are viewing your services like the bag from Burlington Coat Factory when really it should be valued like a Louis Vuitton? And it's not. The difference then isn't let me add a whole lot more stuff to the bag. The difference is let me get an appropriate view of the bag. Now, for all of you, I don't know if any of you all believe in Jesus or if you're Christians. If you are, write Jesus in the comments just so I can give y'all a shout out. Woo woo, because it is Holy Week, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that it's Holy Week, so praise God. But one of the beautiful things that happens when you give your life to Christ, when you get an appropriate view of who you are, is you start to see yourself as God sees you. And one of the things that I always pray, I actually just prayed this, and I was like, Lord, please help me not to have the wrong view of my circumstances due to my insecurities. And I pray that prayer because you guys, I'm very conscious of the fact. I think that one of the things that happens when you start getting into your Bible and you start reading your word and you start getting closer to Christ is that you start to realize all of the things that you've done that really ain't right. Like they ain't on the line. Like it ain't all the way good. Like there's some things that you probably need to do better at. And so it can very easily make you think, oh my gosh, I'm messing up, Lord. I don't know why you love me. I don't know why you care about me. And one of the beautiful things that the Holy Spirit does for me is it'll say like, yeah, you've messed up, but the fact that you can see it, the fact that you can realize that you weren't always as nice as you need to be, or you weren't always as dialed in as you need to be is literally the good thing. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. So don't let the realization of who you are and your nature diminish the value of who you are because I still see you as valuable. And another thing is the Bible actually talks quite a bit about not fearing man, not being partial to men. In fact, I was reading James 2 today, and it was all about partiality in the church. It's like if you view the rich man and sit him all the way in the front because he's more valuable, but then you view the poor man who comes in raggedy clothes and you sit him in the back, that's not right. That's not showing Christ's love. And when I thought about that scripture, what I really thought about is that one of the reasons why we don't view ourselves appropriately is because we don't know how to view ourselves and not compare ourselves to others. Is like this comparative culture that we're in, which is very much like, oh, well, she made 1 million and you made 100,000, she's better than you. Or, oh, she dresses like this and you dress like that, she's better than you. Oh, her video camera setup is so nice, mine isn't as nice, she's gonna have better content than me. Like the nature that we're in to constantly compare, which actually comes from an overload of information that we have. And so we have a lot of information about other people's lives, what they show us. We don't know what's going on the back end, but because we have so much information, it's a natural human inclination to compare. And what I'm constantly doing and what I'm constantly asking is like, Lord, put the right people around me. Help, like the fact that I'm going to see it with natural eyes, like help me not to make the wrong decision, but also show me how to view myself the right way so that I don't diminish the gifts that you've put inside of me, give them away when those were the very gifts that you wanted me to take, multiply to sustain myself so that I could be free from systems that are unjust. I don't want to waste my gifts, right? And so a part of what I'm trying to get you guys to understand and a part of what the data suggests is that if you don't see yourself appropriately, you won't only misjudge who you are, you will in turn misjudge your labor. So you won't put the right view on your labor. And so my desire for all of you is to really work really, really hard at seeing yourself as valuable, absent your work. And from there, right? Like you're valuable whether you produce a whole lot of work or not. That's just a truth. But then the work that you put into the earth, if you can see yourself appropriately, then you can see your work appropriately. And appropriately does not just mean you see it as infinitely valuable. It may also mean you see it as needing a little bit more skills on top of it so that you can be the best. But when you have the right view of who you are and you know that you're valuable absent your work, you can critique yourself appropriately without diminishing your self-esteem and your self-worth. Does that make sense? Because we do need to be able to see when we need a little bit more, you know, help. We do need to be able to see when we need a little bit more help on growing and developing as people. We do need to be able to say, okay, I'm good, but I'm not quite the best yet. And so what I need to do to become number one in my industry is this. But if you're so insecure that you can't handle critique, you'll never get better. And you'll underprice or you'll astronomically overprice, and it's not rooted in any foundation. And I'm not an advocate for astronomical overpricing either. The same way I'm not an advocate for astronomical underpricing. Okay? We want to have appropriate pricing. Now, check this out. People use prices to reflect their internal emotional temperature about their value based on research into self-perception and pricing, which means that when you put a price out there, okay? Now, here's what the study says. People use prices to reflect their internal emotional temperature about their value. What does that mean? This is why a woman who can barely afford it, okay, sometimes, not all, here's what the data suggests. About 50% of high-end consumers of Chanel, Louis, Gucci, all those products, about 50% of those consumers are not in the upper echelon of revenue earners. They're not in the upper class, okay? About 50% of those consumers are middle and lower class consumers of these products. Now, there may be different studies that say different things. That's the study that I read that said that. Okay. Now, if that's the case, this data makes a lot of sense to me because what the data is saying is that when I buy a Gucci bag, I'm not just buying a bag, I'm buying status. Okay. So if you're pricing and you're severely underpricing your services, then that means that you're going to get a consumer that isn't getting any status when they buy your products or services because they're like, okay, well, this is cheap. So what does this say about me? In turn, what that actually can mean is that sometimes when things are severely underpriced, what you're selling is not going to attract the quality of consumer that you want because the price is only going to call the consumer who feels that they're only worth that low price. Now, how can you get over that? Your marketing and your messaging. And there may be a strategic reason why you have something that is lower cost. Like we do free events, but through our messaging, we actually, in one of our ads, we actually say, hey, we're doing this event for free, not because you can't afford to buy a ticket, but because we want this to be a no risk transaction for you. because the truth is we work with experts who could easily afford the prices of our products and services. So that's a different positioning than you need to come to this free event. I know you ain't got it. I know the economy is hurting you bad. I know that we don't do struggle messaging. Struggle messaging attracts people who are struggling, and that's not really that's not our primary consumer. And so we try to stay away from the struggle messaging. In fact, I was talking to our ads consultant, and he was like, make sure your ads don't skew too negative. We want to have an empowering message that would attract an empowered consumer. And in fact, because of who our audience is, I have to explain why stuff is free or a lower cost, because otherwise they'll think something's off. And not all of our products are like that. But as we've grown as a company, we have products anywhere from like our $24 book to our $100,000 program. And so we have everything in between, but we make sure that our messaging is consistent at the $24 book level, all the way up to the $100,000 mastermind level. And so you want to make sure that your messaging matches your pricing to get the consumer that you want. Okay. And all right. And let's say this, you want to make sure that you're not underpricing just so that you feel safe or accepted. One way that people who struggle with people pleasing, one of the ways that shows up is it shows up in putting out a price that won't make people quote unquote mad. But that's not your job. And can I just help the person out who really does struggle with pleasing people, but is also called to be a leader? If you don't get over your people pleasing, you'll never be able to lead people well, because leading people requires that you call them up. And that requires that you say the thing they need to hear, even if it won't make them like you. And that is your responsibility as a leader, as a consultant, and as a coach. And that is my responsibility. And I didn't even think I really dealt with people pleasing until I had some clients and I really let them, do whatever they wanted. And I never caught them on their bad behavior because I was scared of having the difficult conversation. And I've gotten so much better at that. And it really took me understanding and calling it out as, Ashley, if you ain't gonna talk to if you're not gonna tell these people the truth, then you need to let somebody else coach them. Or get strong enough to tell people the truth. Tell people what they need to hear. Don't hold back. Do what you're supposed to do. Say it in love, but you need to tell them what they need to hear in terms of if you see something that could really be a problem for them down the line, you have to be bold enough and strong enough and courageous enough to actually say it. So number 2, this is some sales psychology for you guys. How people perceive your price and value determines how they buy. Okay? Price really is seen as a quality signal. There's a reason why luxury brands almost never run sales and why tiered pricing works in coaching and consulting. So check this out. When you're thinking about how do you set your prices, there's a couple of different things that you're going to look at, and we're going to go into pricing strategically in a minute, but a little bit more on this sales psychology. Number 1, there's something called the anchoring effect. A study found that humans rely heavily on the first number they see when judging value, a principle that marketers use constantly. And so if you're selling let's say you're selling a course and it's an educational course, and this course is going to help them to learn Spanish. Okay. They never learned Spanish. They want to learn Spanish. This is just an example. You could start by saying that if you were to take level 1, 2, and 3 Spanish at the average college in America, and you were to pay $2,500 per credit, and you were to take like 12 credit hours of Spanish at $2,500 per credit, you would pay blank, whatever that equals, right? So maybe it's 12 times 2,500. Let's see what that is for an example. 12 times 2,500. Okay. So let's say that you were to price it as this. Let's see if Google will give it to me real quick. There we go. 12 times 2,500 is $30,000. So let's assume you're selling a course on how to learn Spanish, and you're selling that course for $2,000. And you say, well, if you were to take a college level Spanish class and you were to do 12 credit hours of Spanish, and it was priced at $2,500 an hour, then you would be paying about $30,000 across 4 years to learn Spanish. But we have developed a program that could teach you how to learn Spanish in the next 90 days for $2,000, saving you about $28,000 of college credit hours. And you are going to walk away knowing Spanish because unlike in credit where you need those hours to graduate, you want to learn Spanish so that you can travel the world freely, make more on your day job, get a promotion. Did you know that people who actually can speak 2 languages can negotiate up to $20,000 more on average on their salary? So if you're making $60,000, this is an $80,000 a year opportunity for you. And then you say the price is $2,000. Now, here's what science suggests. Whatever the first number people hear is typically the number they're going to affiliate as the anchoring number for the value of your offer. So what you all need to do, and this is just a simple sales psychology principle, is you're going to need to align and really show people the value in what you're giving. Don't assume they'll make the jump. If you're teaching Spanish, there's all kind of value. One, when you travel the world, you don't have to hire a translator. The average translator costs $80 an hour. If you travel and you're going to need a translator for a 7-day trip, let's say you need the translator for 8 hours a day for a 7-day trip, that's going to cost you upwards of, and then you give them the rate for that, right? There's all types of ways for you to do it, but don't assume that your audience is going to do the hard work of realizing what your value is. You're going to have to show them side by side, this is the value of what I am delivering to you. And then you're going to have to ask them, you could even ask them, how much do you think that's worth? A translator on a trip. What would you budget for that if you were taking a trip? Okay. And how many trips do you plan to take per year to Spanish speaking countries? Okay. So across your lifetime, you think you'd take at least 10 trips. If you budgeted at least $2,000 per trip for a translator, and you're going to take at least 10 over your lifetime, that's about $20,000 in lifetime savings just from there. And then how many years do you think you'll work your job? Do you think you can negotiate at least 20,000 more per year? You think you'll be on your job another 10 years at least? Well, that's another $200,000 of additional income on top of whatever you're making. And are you saying that a measly $2,000 is going to keep you from investing in this course when this is how you can utilize and realize this value in real time? All of a sudden, $2,000 is chump change. I think that what happens a lot of times when we talk about our pricing, we leave it to our customers to make the value jump. We leave it to our customers to come up with why it's worth it. And we harp on the price. We ignore the value and the opportunity. And so now we're trusting that they have the appropriate money mindset, cognitive ability, reasoning skills, background. They've done the research and now they know they have everything they need to sell themselves. The truth is, I don't really have to sell anyone. I give people the right information so they can sell themselves, but they can only sell themselves if you give them the right information. Otherwise, they're just going to talk themselves out of opportunities. Why is that? Because most people, a mind unchecked always goes to chaos. A mind unchecked always goes to chaos. What does that mean? That means that without you doing some additional work, most people are going to see an opportunity and their mind is going to go to chaos. And what does that mean, go to chaos? What does that look like visibly? This is what your customer's mind is doing. Oh, it sounds like she can help me. Yeah, that seems real good, but that price sounds high. I don't think that's going to work. And then what about this? And what about onboarding? And who else has done it? And is that going to work? And I don't know. And I'm so confused. And now I got all these questions. So now I ain't going to buy. That's what it looks like when a customer's mind is going to chaos. And it does not just happen with customers who are brand new or struggling. This is every customer. We recently had to hire a service provider to do something. And the process. The process was intense. Okay. And literally every time someone would present to me a new rate, I'm in my mind thinking like, okay, well, does that, and because people see me as a consumer that's got it, like they be like, oh, she got it. She balling. Hey, this going to be a lick. They never sell it. They just say, this the price. And I'm like, okay, I got no data to work with. So what happened to the mind? Where does it go? Drop it in the chat. The mind is going, it's spiraling. I'm like, well, I don't know if this is going to work. And who are their clients again? And is this going to make sense? And who has time for this? And are they going to onboard me right? And oh my God, I don't have time for all these meetings. And da-da-da. The mind goes to chaos. So how do you prevent the mind from going to chaos? You give them enough information to sell themselves. You answer the unspoken objection in their mind. There's 2 types of objections that every consumer has. One is the spoken objection. Oh, I don't know about the timing. I don't know about the time of this. I don't know about this. But the other is the unspoken objection. And the unspoken objections are the ones that are going to prevent them from buying. The spoken, if they tell you the objection, they want you to handle that objection. If they tell you, hey, it's the price, they want you to do something about that. They want you to help them talk. The question that you ask is this, very simple, very clear. I'm giving y'all a masterclass tonight, and I hope y'all appreciate it. Here's the question. Can I help walk you through that? I know you're talking about the price. There may be something that we can do to walk you through making this decision to make it easier on you. Can I walk you through that? Simple. Well, yeah, you could walk me through that. Okay, let's talk. Let's break it down. Now, what were you planning to spend on this? Well, I didn't know what to spend. I didn't even have a budget. Okay, awesome. Now, when you say the price is too high, there's always a range. Like that can mean anything from I can't pay my rent, or I just have some other priorities I need to handle. Where do you fall on that scale? I just have some other priorities. Okay, great. Can you tell me about some of those business priorities? Are any of the priorities that are before this specifically going to help you to increase your sales? Well, no, but I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to. Okay, great. Because if you could get something that would help you increase your sales, wouldn't that alleviate the stress on some of those other areas of your business? Like you'd be able to hire and you'd be able to do this. I just want to make sure that we're prioritizing for your goals that you told me about earlier. Do you all see how that simple reframe? Hey, can I walk you through it? Because if someone tells you, oh, it's the price, they want you to help them with that. Now, I always ask the qualifier because if you come to me and say, "Hey, I can't pay my bill," like I'm not okay. Well, then you're not my target, right? Because we sell sales training to CEOs of companies that have offers and want to make more money in their business. But if you have absolutely $0 to invest in your business, you're not my audience. You got to read the free book. The Speak Your Way to Cash book is here. Listen to the podcast, watch the YouTube. But I can't give you coaching for the budget of $0. Absolutely not. Like even to work with me in my mastermind starts at $35,000 a year. So like I can't give you free coaching. Now, and that is another thing, because some of y'all are out here giving out free coaching, like you just doing everything for free. And then you wondering why ain't nobody buying nothing. Well, baby, you don't require them to pay no invoices. So of course they're going to give you free coaching. Now we have YouTube videos and live videos, and we're very generous with our content, but believe you me, this is not even a tenth of what we know in totality of what I know how to grow and scale your business. This is a preview. This gives you enough to get going and get started. We put out so much good free information that if you just watched it, read the book, implement it, you should be able to be the person who becomes the CEO who's like, yeah, Ashley, I'm ready for the mastermind. I want you to be my coach. I'm confident in that. I've listened to your videos every day for the last year. I'm pretty sure you're my girl. Okay. Like we do that, but you're going to have some priorities on that. So number one, your pricing and their perception go hand in hand. So you're going to want to make sure that you are pricing for the value that you provide. Okay. Now that's number one in number two. Okay. So number one that we talked about was your money mindset shapes your prices. Number two was that sales psychology impacts how people perceive your price, and that also impacts how they buy. Number three, there are some external factors to consider when pricing strategically. So if you're taking notes, we're going to go a little bit deeper. Here we go. You do want to know what your competitors are charging. Absolutely. Why are you scared of that? Don't be scared of that. Go find out what they're charging. Do some market research. You do want to know what your customers are paying. You do want to know what other programs are out there, and you really want to know what they're talking about. That's just called market research, competitor research. That's fine. You do want to know that because that is going to tell you what your free content needs to look like. Because if in your market, everybody is racing to the bottom on prices, then you're going to have to do a lot of free content around why you are different, why what you do is not the same as what everyone else does. And if you don't do that, then you, again, are leaving it up to their own cognitive abilities, leaving it up to their own ability to decipher why you're different. Free content is to help people to become your buyer. That is the real point of the free content, to help people become your buyer. Hey, Chris, my husband just joined live on Instagram. I'm live on YouTube too. Listen to the sound. Let me know if it sounds good, babe. Thank you. So you want to do that and to help them to become your buyer. Number three, external factors, pricing strategically. So you're going to use competitor context, but you are going to price on value, not on their prices. Let me explain. If you have astronomically more experience in an area, and if you have astronomically more receipts, more testimonials, whatever that looks like for you, then you don't need to price in alignment with the lowest common denominator in your market. You're getting this from market research so that you know the landscape, not so that you make their highest price your ceiling. Do y'all get that? If y'all got that comment, got it. Okay, because we ain't doing that. Two, you got to price based on value. If they implement everything you say, where will they be in 30 days? Where will they be in 60 days? Where will they be in 90 days? And the best people at sales are excellent at future pacing and letting people to really see themselves in a vision that they otherwise did not see themselves in. Like that's a big piece of this, okay? And then three, this is a big one. You want to price beneath the perceived value. Let's say you perceive that if they work with you, they are going to get $200,000 in value. Then a good price may be $30,000. A good price may be $50,000. It may be $100,000, but a good price is not $200,000. Why? Because if you perceive that the lifetime value of your offer is $200,000 and they pay you $200,000, are they any better off? Are they any better off? Are they any better off? Okay. No, they're not. All right. No, they're not. Good night, Christelle. Mommy loves you. I'll come in and give you a kiss once I'm done. My daughter said good night. Okay. Love that. So, here, practical pricing tips. Practical pricing tips. Now, you can do three-tiered pricing. You could do three-tiered pricing like, hey, we have a silver version, a gold version, and a platinum version. Typically, when we do events, we always have at least two options or three options, actually. We do tier pricing with our events. We have a free ticket, not all the time, but for our virtual event coming up, end of the month, we have a free ticket for the Speak Your Way to Cash Summit, a free ticket, then we have a VIP ticket, then we have a platinum ticket. There are always going to be people who want to play at the highest level. Give them an opportunity to. For us, our free ticket, you get to come to the event. Our VIP ticket, you get to come and you get this beautiful your first corporate offer workbook. Like, look at this thing. It's amazing. You get a digital copy if you're coming to our digital event. If you're coming to our tour stop, we have a totally different workbook, and it's a beautiful in-person printed workbook that you get, but only VIPs get that. At our platinum level for our virtual event, platinum people get to actually talk to me one-on-one, ask questions, do coaching live, all the things. And so it's a three-tiered pricing structure. Free folks, come on in. VIP folks, hey, they want the workbook. Platinum folks, they want the coaching live during the event. And so there's that. There's three tiers of pricing. That typically works really well. You're always going to have people at each level. If we had a whole nother tier called the diamond level, I'm sure there'd be some people who want to take that. But it gives you more than data because it takes nothing. It takes minimal commitment to sign up for something free. Do you all know if we do a free event, only about on a good day, maybe 30% of those people are going to show up? Why is that? Because nothing earned, nothing lost. They didn't earn a ticket. They didn't pay for a ticket. They didn't do anything to get a ticket. It was free. Now, why do you think it's valuable though for our business strategically to still do free events? Because what did we get for that? We got a lead. A lead is name and a way to contact them. So we can contact them in the future for other events. So for our business, we still got value out of that as long as they put in their real name and their real email address. But just giving you guys some insight into how the back end marketing works. If people sign up for something free, they're not all going to come because it took a low commitment to sign up. So it takes a low commitment to not show up. Like, I may come, I may not, which is why if you want a higher intent user for your stuff, you always put a price tag on it, even if it's a free event, or even if it's a low cost event or a virtual event or a webinar. If you're looking for a higher quality buyer, the highest quality buyers always pay. Always. They're just a more quality lead. And when I say quality lead, I don't mean more quality person. This has nothing to do with who they are character-wise. It has everything to do with the data. They are more likely to show up if they pay at least something. The more they pay, the more likely they are to show up. So that means that lead quality goes from not very high probability of showing up to a higher probability of showing up based on what they pay. So your pricing doesn't just allow you to it doesn't just allow you to make money in your business. It also gives you data about the quality of the leads that you're getting into your business and what people like and what people dislike. Now, some quick pricing tips. If you're a speaker, the average speaker, you should not be charging less than $15,000 per keynote. You should start the negotiation there. Now, when I say start the negotiation there, you guys, here's what I mean. Start the negotiation there. That doesn't mean they're going to accept that right away. They're not. They're going to go back and forth with you. That's how it is. But it does mean that you start the negotiation there and then you go up or you go down. Maybe you negotiate down a little bit. That's fine. Start the negotiation there. If you're coaching or you're a consultant, prices may vary. And so the price that you charge is really going to be based on the three things that we talked about. Make sure you view yourself right. But competitor pricing is informative, not determinative. It's informative, not determinative. Then the value that they're going to get. And then you want to price beneath the value so that they are actually getting something when they buy from you. We always price beneath the value. Even our $100,000 offer is priced beneath the value. We have an offer where I'll tell y'all about it, but it's not for everybody. We have an offer where I will come in and I will actually resell your offer. If you join my program for a year and you're like, Ashley, I want you to come to my event. I want you to pitch for me. I want you to show up live. I want you to sell my event in my live event. You're really good at sales. I love the way you speak. I know you could convert an audience. I have 300 people at my event. I want to make more money from them. You could join our program at the $100,000 level and I will do that. And you're like, $100,000. But the last person who we did this offer for, where I actually came and repitched their offer, we helped generate an additional $400,000 in 90 minutes for their business. So now all of a sudden that's a steal, but it's for a very specific person. If you're like, I've never done an event before, I got 2 people showing up, it's not for you. It's for someone who has a proven track record of doing events and they want me to reposition, repitch their offer and help them to generate more money from the room. I'm very good at that. That is what I'm very good at. Now, why am I good at that? Well, it's not just because I'm a coach on the internet. It's because I've studied sales, I've studied sales psychology, and I worked as a trial lawyer. What are trial lawyers doing? They are taking 12 people who don't want to be there, and they are using words and evidence to convince them to vote for your client. Well, that's sales. In order to be good at trial law, you have to understand sales psychology. And I just so happened to be trained on trial law by some of the best trial lawyers and trial experts in the world. Before that, what did I do? Speech and debate. What is debate? Debate is when you have to debate with one other person. It's a competitive it's an academically competitive exercise, activity, team. You and one other person are debating, and a judge determines whether or not your side is right or the other side is right. It is verbal sparring in a sense. And I actually won nationals for Lincoln Douglas debate in high school. And I was the first person in my school to even do that. And I was the debate team captain, which y'all probably are not shocked by at all. So I've been speaking my whole life. Like my first competition competitively was at 4 and I won Miss Cinderella. That was in 1994. Good year. Okay. So I've been doing this and like building on these skills for my entire life. And now that I understand sales and sales psychology and internet marketing and how people think and how things work, I can now deploy that in a very specific, particular way. So the price on that makes perfect sense with the ROI that they get. But notice if they make 400,000, I'm not trying to come in and charge them 400,000. Why? Because then what do they get out of that? Nothing. They're in no better position. So you have to price beneath the value. It doesn't mean underprice severely. It does mean make sure that they're getting an ROI. And what happens when you give someone an ROI time and time again? They come back, which is why it's important not to gouge or overprice. This is why it's important, because when you do that, you may get it one time, but you will not get it repeatedly. You will not get it repeatedly. So you do need to understand, what are your competitors pricing? What does that look like and how to do that? Now, look, y'all. If any one of you watching this actually lives in Houston, Texas right now, I just want to do a PSA. Houston is the only city on the Your First Corporate Offer Tour that has not sold out. I don't know why exactly. I don't know what's going on in Houston, but they still have a few seats left. So what I want you to do is comment the word tour if you're on Instagram, or if you're on YouTube, what I want you to do is get your ticket before it sells out. Every other city is sold out. Atlanta sold out. Chicago, well, I'll go in the order of the sellout. New York sold out first, then Atlanta, then the DMV, then Chicago, then Dallas. And I know that Houston is going to sell out next, but I want you all to go and get your ticket. So I want you to check this video and get your ticket to the tour.
Last year, we went on tour, and let me tell you, it was a movement. Every city sold out. Chicago, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, DC. Experts showed up, locked in, and walked away with strategies that transformed their businesses into high-ticket offer powerhouses. And this year, we're doing it bigger, better, and more impactful. Because in 2025, it's not just about landing speaking gigs. It's about building a corporate offer that brings in $25,000 or more per client. And we're going to help you do it live and in person at the Your First $25,000 Corporate Offer Tour. And listen, if you've been struggling to land high-ticket corporate deals, this is your moment. So let me break it down. What really happens at this tour? This is not another feel-good event where you take notes and go home overwhelmed. No, this is a live, in-person workshop where we build your corporate offer in the room. You will create a ready-to-sell $25,000 corporate offer that clients actually want. You will learn exactly how to pitch, price, and position your offer, So companies and clients say yes, and you will leave with the confidence and strategy to start selling this offer as soon as you walk out the door. Last year in Chicago, we had attendees sign clients in the room. One entrepreneur came in with no corporate clients and walked out with a deal on the table. In Atlanta, we met a woman who was landing government contracts but felt stuck. She came to the tour, restructured her offer, and now knows how to pitch one-to-one without going through the lengthy RFP process. Her business was able to grow. In Houston, we came right after a storm, and instead of canceling, we showed up and created a safe space for experts to learn, connect, and get breakthroughs in their business. We didn't just talk sales strategy, we talked mindset and then gave them a plan to secure corporate deals and did cash infusion strategies so that they could leave knowing exactly what to do to get more money in their business. In Dallas, we went deep into brand positioning. And in Dallas was where we were introduced to none other than Pastor T.D. Jakes. Yes, real connections happen as a result of the high caliber experts that came to the room. And let me tell you about DC. This was the largest stop of the tour, sold out first. There was a line out the door to get in, and we did an exclusive bonus session just answering questions before the event even started because the demand was that high. This year, we are adding New York. And as of right now, New York has almost the most people on the wait list. Look, there are only 50 seats per city. On the day tickets drop, it is only for $99. If you want to sell high-ticket corporate offers, if you're tired of guessing, tired of spinning your wheels, trying to figure it out alone, this is your chance. Come and spend one day with me in person and walk out with a bulletproof corporate offer that's ready to sell. Whether you're selling to huge companies, whether you target small business clients, or anyone in between, if you sell services, have an expertise, you need to be at the Your First Corporate Offer Tour. Get on the wait list now, or if tickets are already open, get your seat, because once they are gone, they're gone. I'm coming to a city near you, and if you don't see your city, fly to the nearest one, because this is not a movement you want to miss. I'll see you in the room.
All right, guys. So I hope you all enjoyed that incredible commercial. Did we not? Okay, give me your biggest takeaway from tonight in the comments. Give me your biggest takeaway from tonight in the comments. We went deep into pricing and sales psychology and what it looks like, and even some science around pricing, really how your money mindset affects your pricing and how to set the right price. Here's another thing that I will tell you guys. You should really look into there's so many books, but I'm trying to think of what I can recommend. There's a book called there's a book called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I think it's a really good book to realize that the challenges that you come up against, the things that you face, the things that you consider to be normal, like, oh well, this is like, I don't know why I'm always attacked in this way, or I don't know why even how you view wealthy people. Like if you're someone, whenever you see someone who has influence, or you see a celebrity, or you see someone who has a lot of money, and you instantly try to find out what's wrong with them, that can be a clue of a money mindset issue. If, every time someone tells a price, you get mad at them, like not just, oh, that's not for me, but like, oh, I can't believe, like that could be a money mindset issue. If you feel like if you're not working extraordinarily hard for money, you'll never make it, that could be a money mindset issue. If you've never met anyone with money, and so you think everything is a scam or a fraud, that could be a money mindset issue. And so I would just say to make sure that you are not holding yourself back because of these money mindset issues that really aren't even your fault. Most of our beliefs come from external factors. It's not like we're born with those beliefs, but I do think that it's so critically important, especially right now, y'all, with everything that's going on in the world and tariffs and this and that. Like, it's so easy in 2025, regardless of the side of the aisle that you're on. But I totally voted for her. But anyways, regardless of the side of the aisle that you're on, it's so easy to just get so in despair about things. And you may see one bad news story about the economy and then be like, this is why nobody gonna buy from me, because of this. This is why this ain't gonna work out, and this ain't gonna work out. And then you just start spiraling. And I just believe that, because a mind left unchecked always goes to chaos, even your mind. We sometimes don't even have enough information to make determinations about the economy or what people are or aren't doing. Maybe our 5 friends have all stopped doing a thing, but that doesn't mean that the entire world no longer needs your gift. I want you to remember that there are billions with a B of people on this planet. And you could have, think about this practically. You could have 100 people, just 100. Let's just do some math here. 100 people that all pay you $10,000 for something. And that's $1 million business. 100 people out of billions of people on the planet. Let me ask ChatGPT this question, y'all. Now y'all gonna see how I use chat. This is how I use chat. Hey, chat, based on the number of people that are on just say in the United States right now, I just need 100 people to give me $10,000 for my offer, and they likely would need to be business owners or CEOs of a company. What's the probability of that happening based on the number of people in the world that you can find that maybe qualify? Let's see what it says. I don't know. I did not test this beforehand. I'm literally doing this live. But think about this. So there are roughly 33 million small businesses in the United States. Approximately 5.3 million are employers of firms. So there are at least 30 to 33 million people who are actively running businesses. Many of them are CEOs by default. Let's be real, not everyone could do that, but there are probably at least 1.7 million that businesses in the United States that are generating at least $500,000 or more annually. And so I would estimate that if you can reach a pool of about 100,000 qualified business owners, and let's say just 0.1% say yes, that's 100 clients. If you can reach 10,000 qualified people, and let's say just 1% convert, that's 100 clients. So if it's really just about reach and messaging, so bottom line, you only need 0.00033% of the total market to make $1 million in business. That's a high probability of success. Now, what stops people? If those numbers are even remotely true, what stops people from doing it? Their belief. Because if every morning you wake up and you say, I'm not going to be able to do it, this isn't going to work. People ain't got money for this. Ain't nobody going to pay me for that. This isn't going to work. They can't do that. This isn't going to, like, how could they do that for me? And my offer isn't good enough. And the last person told me no. And my friends and family don't support me. And da-da-da-da. Every negative thought that you give yourself slows your progress. Did you know? And I just found this statistic so fascinating. Did you know that overthinking shrinks the part of the brain that is responsible for 2 core competencies? 1 being decision making, 2 being action taking. If that is true, then that means that our thoughts are directly responsible for the actions that we take. Like, it's not superficial. What you think you become, what you think you see around you. Your life is sometimes a direct reflection. I say sometimes because everybody got a situation. Sometimes a direct reflection of the thoughts that you have thought. And if we were ever honest with ourselves and said, like, you know what, I got to do better about my thought habits. I got to get my thought habits in check. I got to make sure that I am habitually thinking on the right things. I am habitually thinking on positivity. I'm habitually thinking about how it's going to work out for me. I am habitually thinking about how it's going to work out, about how people can't wait to do business with me, about how my life is going to get astronomically better day by day by day, about how there are so many people who need my services that all I got to focus on is finding those people, mastering sales, mastering marketing, mastering operations, that I have so many opportunities to grow and thrive. Like, I need to start thinking thoughts that get my engine going, because if it is true that overthinking can shrink the part of your brain that is responsible for decision making and action taking, then it is also true that thinking the right thoughts is responsible for getting you into action and into gear. And that's why we have this show, the Ashley Nicole Show, where I just sit here with my camera, with my light. I don't have a team here. It is just me and it is just you. It is not highly produced, so that I can have real talk with y'all about what you need to do, what you need to be thinking, who you need to be being to get what you want in life. And you are going to have to invest in your business. You are going to have to price appropriately. You are going to need to get the right coaches, and they are going to cost. It is not beyond your reach. You can do it. You can keep investing in your business. It is a business write-off if you're investing in professional development for your business. It is something that you need. The only way we astronomically grew is when we started investing at the level of our expectations, not at the level of our destination, or not at the level of our location. Right? Our destination was millions. Our location wasn't millions though. And so I couldn't invest at the level of my location and then expect for me to reach my destination faster. I had to invest at the level of my destination, at the level of my desire, so that I could grow and go to the next level. I couldn't hire the cheapest coach, but wanted to be number one in my industry. She wasn't number one in her industry. I couldn't keep doing that, right? I had to start increasing my capacity for taking on more responsibility. I needed to start learning from people who had vision and dreams and whose thought processes I respected. Not just their Instagram aesthetic. Like, do you respect how they think? Do you like the way they show up for themselves, right? That is what I started looking at. I needed to up it. Okay? I needed to stop playing small. I needed to stop making decisions based on fear. Well, if I spend this and it don't work out, what happens? That's fear. Well, if I say I'm going to do it, but what if I give up on myself again? That's fear. Different. I had to start doing different, investing different. I had to stop being my own worst enemy and become my biggest cheerleader. I had to start seeing myself bigger before the world saw it, because guess what, y'all? I was doing YouTube videos when one person was viewing them, 20 people were viewing them, 13 people were viewing it. I still had to show up for myself. I'm telling you, it was not like we didn't go viral and hit it big. We just didn't. Person by person, one by one. That's how we built our business. That's how we built it. We invested a lot with really smart people. They helped us. But even with them helping us, they did not do the work for me. They gave me good ideas and good strategy, and that was good. But I had to do the work. And so even coaching alone will not get you to growth. Good information, excellent execution, over time, even when it's hard. That's going to get you to growth. And you got a price out of the value of your offer, not out of your insecurities. So I hope you guys got something good today. I love that. Thank you so much. I love your book. It was recommended by the publicist I contract with. I'm a licensed therapist, practice owner in the DMV. I love the value that you add to the psychology of pitching and creating proposals. Thank you so much for the book recommendation. Hey, Crystal, girl, I hope you're coming to the DMV tour stop. I would love to meet you. All right, guys. So we have had a time tonight. If you have not already, make sure you go. Everybody can do this. Go to www.speakyourwaytocash.com. www.speakyourwaytocashsummit.com and register for the Your First Corporate Offer Summit that's coming up at the end of this month. You're going to get so much value from it. It's 2 days. It's incredible. It's off the chain. This summit is already shaping up to be better than any other summit we've done. We have thousands of people registered already. Incredible, 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 incredible. I'm so excited about it. Literally, my team sent me the numbers and they were like, girl, we already have we have over 1,300 people registered, and we still have 8 days until the event. We're going to have so many people register for that summit. It's going to be so good. So make sure you guys are there. I can't wait to see you, and I'll talk to y'all later.